All right. So, we're live. Good. We win. I get it. Whew. Everybody, hope you're doing great. Sorry for the delay. I was telling Zach I had a honey emergency that couldn't quite get it done. Somebody says it's time to change the purple profile picture. But I don't know what purple profile picture we have. And Jesse has joined us.
Yay!
Jesse may be on audio only right now, but it's good to have him here with us today. Welcome, everybody. We've got a lot to cover today, a lot of interesting news, as well as, Coca's calling from Canada. Great to see you. Let's start. I'm going to start with the good news first. The good news is in one of our 39 country ban cases, this would be the Nicaro case in Atlanta. So I had a really great talk with the government lawyer today. And Jesse made a really good point among us earlier, is that a lot of these cases, the success sometimes depends on the government's lawyer. Yeah. You know, whether they're really willing to go the extra mile. We've had a great lawyer in Atlanta and probably buoyed by the fact that the judge agreed with our arguments, but still gave the government the benefit of the doubt. But as near as we can tell, I think all but 3 people have gotten their EADs. All but 3. And they're working on those right now.
Other categories.
Yeah, and they're working on those right now. And we're also working on the remaining applications. We've had all but 3 EADs so far, 1 H-1B, and 1 adjustment has been granted from that group. And we've got about 11 more items on the list. And government counsel is working quickly to get those resolved, because I'm sure he'd love to dismiss the case before he has to report back to the judge in 30 days, or was it 28 days, whatever he's got left, 25 days left. But he is actually going to be filing, keep in mind, in the Nicaro case, the judge asked for a 60-day status report about 55 days ago. So he is going to actually, Rodney's going to do a status report, and what he wants to tell the judge, it's all done. That's what he wants to do. So we're moving great strides on the Georgia case. We've got everybody's case numbers that I'm aware of, and we've, as far as I know, we've identified the cases that are pending, and so we're in good shape there. Now let's hop over to the Colorado case, Zach. Tell us about that. Yeah, the government filed something today, which is weird.
So they, as everybody in the Colorado case knows, we filed an amended complaint, kind of adding everybody's declarations, because the judge had some concerns in oral argument that he didn't have all the declarations. The government filed a kind of a renewed motion to dismiss. So they already filed this before. I mean, this is when we were briefing the PI in May. So it's almost identical. They've added just that one argument that they made in oral argument that the judge said, "Oh, you kind of are springing this on the plaintiffs. Let's give them a chance to respond in writing." So I have the chance to respond in writing now. We have till the end of the month if we are for our response there.
And we're obviously going to respond sooner. Obviously,
yeah, we're not going to wait till I think it's the 29th that we have. But in the end, we've got some time, so it's not no panic from anybody. And in the meantime, we're talking to, and this is we'll wait to the end for the. I don't know. I'll just say it now. We're talking to all the government lawyers. We've sent in spreadsheets of all of the I-765s that are pending, and just asking them for adjudications on everybody's 765s in 30 days, seeing what happens. I mean, we can see in Georgia that they can do it, and they're willing to do it. So it's just a matter of pushing this along. So that goes for Georgia, where it's almost completed already. That's it's Colorado. That's both cases in Maryland. Things are moving, and we've got the case in Georgia where we've got a pretty nice spreadsheet from the government, but we are seeing a ton of approvals come in every day from each one of these cases. So it's really heartening when we get those emails. So if you do get an approval, let us know, because I'd love to see it.
Zach, just a quick question on the Colorado case. So you're seeing numbers of approvals there as well?
Oh yeah.
And has the government attorney said, "Hey, we approved a bunch of these cases"? He hasn't said anything, has he, about that?
Oh no, so, we mostly just email about the motions to dismiss. That's it's not nearly the same.
Every government lawyer is different that you deal with, but I think it's important to note that folks that are in these lawsuits seem to be getting a lot more adjudications than folks not in the lawsuits, as I can tell. Especially for people that I represent that are kind of in similar situations that are not in our suits. Most of them have heard nothing. yet from the government. So the government definitely has a list of every single plaintiff with their case numbers. They have that list already because it's in the complaint. And so we're seeing them adjudicate stuff at a little bit rapider pace for plaintiffs than anybody else. Now, the two Maryland cases, Zach, you want to give us an update there?
Yeah, so for Raji, we still have the briefed motion to stay, but we, again, are in pretty close contact with the government attorney there, also talking about here are the urgent cases, here's the 765s, all of those kind of same pushes. And the same thing in ELA, we've got the push to here are our urgent cases that we've identified through the TRO, and then, hey, in addition, here's all of our 765s. Can you get these adjudicated in 30 days? So these are all moving. In ELA, I know everybody wants to talk about that one. A couple of weeks ago, we were about to file a motion for an unopposed TRO, just saying like, hey, government has no problem with this. And when we were contacting the government about that, they said, hey, we don't have record that you served us. So we immediately reserved that. That was, I mean, over 2
Jack,
weeks ago
we
now.
had proof we mailed it, right? We actually put it in the mail.
In our systems, shows that it's been sent out, but don't have the proof. So because we didn't have the proof in hand, we reserved them. Then the judge on Monday was kind of like, hey, what's going on, guys? Because all these conversations are between us and the government attorney. The judge has never been involved in them. So kind of looped the judge in on, hey, here's the situation, here's what's going on. But yeah, things have been moving the last couple of weeks, and we've been emailing plaintiffs both with a massive email to everyone, and then individual inquiries, which I know I still have a lot to get through. So if you've sent me an email, I apologize. The email volume is a little high. So everything's moving there, though. We're seeing a lot of approvals come through both of those cases, and happy to see those when they happen. So keep letting me know.
A couple just to follow-up questions on those. Somebody wrote that you apologize to the judge. When are you going to apologize to the plaintiffs? I think you did apologize to the plaintiffs in the email. Do you want to say something there?
We did. We apologized to the plaintiffs as well. So plaintiffs, we have apologized to you. I'll apologize again. I'm sorry that happened. We will be having a call with plaintiffs to discuss kind of the status of everything, because I know people are feeling a little bit antsy about the status of all of this. So we'll talk with you guys directly about where everything is, and not just on the live, but it's a frustrating situation to say the least. And things are moving, though. It's not like we just started moving again after the status report. This is something we've been talking about on lives for the last few weeks now.
One question is really good. Is that, and again, we're still actually dealing with the government to get final numbers, but at least in the Georgia case, somebody asked, what kind of percentage are you seeing of adjudications? I know we have the Georgia numbers because I've worked directly with the government counsel there, and it's a smaller number, right? But it's about 70% of the plaintiffs have gotten what they needed so far, and we honestly anticipate that number will go down rapidly over the next week or so. Do we have anything like that in the other three cases, Zach?
We don't have. I mean, we don't have spreadsheets from
You're tracking it based on people email you. So
exactly. So like the other way I do it is I plug your receipt numbers into the case status website on USCIS, and that takes a lot longer and is a lot less efficient. So let me know when something happens. But I wouldn't say that we have nearly 70%. One of the big things is that the Georgia case was 4 months ahead of when we filed the Colorado case, which was the second round. So things have been moving in Georgia for a little bit longer. And the government attorney is also really, really pushing in Georgia. So that is a huge benefit.
Great. Just a couple of the quick lawsuits. The F1 visa revocation case is unfortunately still pending in front of the judge on motion to dismiss. Still just waiting to hear back from the judge. And the $100,000 fee case is, of course, postponed again until the 15th of July at the First Circuit. We'll see what happens there. And the 75 country pause case, which a lot of people are waiting for, obviously, this affects a large number of people, far more than the 39 country pause case. That is fully briefed. I mean, we're just literally waiting for the judge in that case. And hopefully we get a decision shortly. Obviously, these bans, these pauses are not going to go away outside the United States until that judge rules on the case. but we feel very confident in that as well. And then finally, just on the Dorcas case, I understand there was going to be an oral argument today on a stay, and it was postponed. And I found that in my live, it's postponed to the government asked to the 15th. I don't have any more information on that. Do you, Zach or Jesse, about why it was moved?
The judge said that he wanted to have more time to read the briefs, to just that's more or less what he said. I think the oral argument was today was the plaintiff's response stage or something like that. But regardless, he's like, I want more time to read things. And the government more or less said all right, well, if you don't rule on this by the 15th, we are going to take this as a constructive denial of our stay motion and take it to the 1st. And so as I understand, it is rescheduled to the 15th. But
that's what I understand as well. And that, what that means is the government has to work another 7 days on doing these cases. And they're clearly doing them. I mean, I think that the fact that they're doing them works against them asking for a stay. So I think Jesse's
also the stay, the evidence they used in support of the stay, they had 10 countries they were talking about, and 3 of them weren't on the ban list. So
it's not a good motion. Not a good motion. The last are the 2 DV cases, DV1 and DV2. DV1 is fully briefed. It's in front of Judge Leon. He has not made any indication on a ruling yet. He is also the judge in Curtis's case. Still haven't heard him on that case either. In our case, the judge asked us to respond back to him with a briefing schedule after we filed our PI on Monday, which we did. We were going to file it Friday, but the government was closed. So we filed it Monday. And I just forgot the government was closed on the Friday before the Saturday holiday. For some reason, I thought it was Monday. I don't know why. But the judge and the government lawyer has already been assigned to the case because we reached out to the government lawyers. Been assigned. We're talking tomorrow morning about the briefing schedule. Obviously, under the rules, they only have 14 days on a PI, which was filed Monday, which they only had. I'm not going to give them any more time than that. Normally we would get 7 days, but we'll get ours done in a couple, 24 to 48 hours. It's not a big deal. We know what the rules. We know what their briefs are going to say. We know what we're going to say. Then we'll get everything else filed as quickly as possible to get it back in front of the judge for the DV2 case. People will ask, when are you going to get a decision? I don't know. I mean, obviously, hopefully sooner than later. I do not think that the judge is waiting to make a decision in his first 2 cases for the 3rd case. I don't think he's doing that. So these are not consolidated cases. They're not all on the same docket in his court. So that's a good sign. So that's kind of an update on all our cases. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did. Let's see. We got some questions here. We got folks from Romania, Canada, Kazakhstan. Be safe out there. I just got a friend come back from Tashkent and said it was awesome. So need to go. We've already answered what's happening in the Colorado case. Dark Theory is looking for the DV pause updates. We are moving along. I just don't see how the judge doesn't follow existing case law. It just doesn't make any sense. So we'll go from there. Let's see. I'm an N400 applicant. I applied for NAPS a year ago. I joined the Georgia case, then I joined the Illa case. Said, what should I do? When you say a year ago, normal processing time for interviews is, at least where I am, is 10 to 12 months normally to get an interview. Has it been 10 to 12 months? If it has, the pause is lifted. You can file a mandamus action if you want to go ahead and do that. I don't think you should until longer than a year has passed since you filed, but it's entirely up to you. I would urge you to consult with a private litigation lawyer apart from the lawsuit. Can you give us an answer when you're planning to answer the Colorado case, Zach?
I mean, sometime before the 29th.
Well, I think it'll be much more before the 29th.
Well, no, I can't give you an exact date, but it's probably the next couple of weeks here.
Now, Sadaf, who has sent us 400 emails as well, says, can't you send the 485s to the government lawyers?
I will say that, so this has been a big point for a lot of people that their 485s are still pending. And one of the things I think we really need to emphasize to everybody is that this isn't a mandamus case, so we can't push for immediate adjudication of 485s. What we are, letting the government know is that you exist and that your case exists, and they definitely have that information. It's a little bit different of a situation from people who are like out of status, though. The government's a little bit more amenable to, all right, this person's either lost their work authorization or is about to lose their work authorization, and so is going to immediately adjudicate this versus, here are some people who have work authorization, have their status, and just want their green cards as soon as possible. It's I know, unfortunate, but in the end, these cases were about lifting the pause, and now we're pushing to get adjudications and get you back in line as to where you would be if the pauses didn't exist. But we, in a lot of ways, can't just say put everybody at the front of the line. It's just a kind of unfortunate reality.
Well, the best ask, Zach, is we want them back in. We want them back in the line where they would have been. That's
right.
Where we
and you know what? We have some pretty good evidence that the government wasn't actually adjudicating cases up to the point of a final decision, like they said they were doing. And that's the argument for the 485s, and that's the argument for the N400s. Is they otherwise would have had a decision or an interview by now if the pause never existed. So we can make those arguments, and we can push those types of things with the government, with the judge. But saying like, here's a list of people with 485s, that in my view is not going to really be helpful. They are still adjudicating 485s, though. I get emails every day from people who have 485s either adjudicated or interviews scheduled. So they are still pushing those.
They're still doing it. I know the one that was approved in the Georgia case was a marriage-based case, oddly enough, which was a local office case. Also, keep in mind the government has their website, which says that local offices do these in 8.5 months, but SCOPS does these in 35 months. Honestly, maybe your case went to the local office, maybe it went back to SCOPS. The reality is you don't know where your case is in that. But we do know this: if you file an adjustment, a mandamus on an adjustment that's been pending less than 2 years, you will get tossed out of court by the judge. You're not winning that case. You're just not. So I understand getting it approved, but understand the courts have a long history of that in recent years of not even looking at them for a couple of years.
And also 485 mandamuses are dangerous because there's a lot of case law, depending on where you're at,
That's
saying pace of adjudication is not something that the jurisdiction doesn't exist for pace of adjudication claims for discretionary benefits. So,
well, and I'll give you an example. In our case, in the Georgia case, the judge has this big bugaboo. Well, the government they're going to be careful who they let have green cards. Apparently, they can let anybody have an EAD, but if they got a green card, that's a big deal. So, he's not going to order a mandamus or order them to adjudicate a case just because the pause is lifted at this point. But you are in the line at that point. And I know that, remember, in the complaint is every EA. You don't know this, but in the complaint is everybody's name and their case number. So the government has this list. They absolutely have the list. I kind of answered this already for Guyet 1234-D6W. Does the judge in Georgia get yes, from his first order, 60 days is coming up shortly, and the government will be filing a report. I can't recall whether that's Friday or early next week. We talked about that today, and he's pushing. He's really pushing. He really wants this case over. So we have a really good ally there. Let's see. Given the tight September 30 deadline, what is the latest calendar date a joint briefing schedule can be typically concluded? Well, as far as I'm concerned, it should be concluded in 14 days. The government's got 12 days left on their 14 days. We can do ours in 2. So, we're in the middle of mid to late July at that point. And I suspect we'll get an answer shortly after that. Hamed Khoshravi, Q8R. The declaration had been submitted in the beginning of the alerts as we asked. Oh, he's comparing us to other cases, Zach. I'm going to take Zach's defense here. We needed to get that case filed, and we didn't have all the affidavits from everybody that had paid.
Also, I don't think it impacted timing at all.
Because you got an immediate hearing. You got an immediate hearing.
We got a hearing within a month, and then, that's not. The judge didn't make a decision and say, give me more affidavits. Like, I know that one judge did do that. That's not what we had here. We had an opportunity to submit them. We did, but that's not, not the situation.
Yeah, I agree. How would you say that? I love getting second guessed by people. It's like playing Monday morning quarterback. If only I was there to get that Egypt goal in, they would have tied Argentina. How would you say the process goes once Judge Leon decides? What we know, historically speaking, is that the judge grants the case, says, no, you got to issue these visas. Our last judge basically asked for weekly status reports, and the government had to come in and say, this is how many we've interviewed, this is how many we've adjudicated. And they did that every week for, in one case, 4 weeks, one case, 3 weeks. And they adjudicated a hell of a lot of cases in that time frame. Now, we also know that there's some places like Poland which hasn't scheduled an interview. There's no interview scheduled in August yet. We get that. But the judge will basically tell the state, look, you got to do these. You got to do them equitably, get these done. And state will have to make that happen. We know they can do it because they've done it before. EB3 AOS Turkmenistan, pending since October 2025. Dude, keep waiting. I mean, that's not that long a wait. That's like a normal processing time.
I mean, I know things because everybody's seeing everybody else's cases get approved.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, hey, my friend got it in 3 weeks. I mean, I get those emails where, but it's the reality is that the median processing times are even like 6 or 7 months, and that's not what most field offices are close to. So, I talked to a lawyer in Guam, and it's a 3-month turnaround. So it's it's not the average for everybody. It's
15 to 18 months.
Waiting.
Yeah, 50. I tell people 15 to 18 months. If you get it before then, that's an act of God stuff. You're happy. Be happy. Celebrate.
It's
Be happy
waiting, but
the other thing I see all the time is like, why are people filing 485s without lawyers? And maybe that's part of the reason that you're not getting that 8.5 months that you think you deserve. I mean, I will tell you, and I don't file them myself, but there's a service that a lawyer provides for 485s, and I get a lot of people who get RFEs. For whatever reason, they didn't put in a 485J, or if it's not an EB2 NIW, or other things. So I think that looking at this as a linear, I file my green card application and I just wait, and then it comes up like it's a piece of toast, is ridiculous. Like, number one, use an attorney. Number two, if you don't know who you're bringing to your interview until you email me, you've done it wrong. You need to email somebody immediately now, because lawyers are busy, but you need to bring somebody in the room with you, and it's not appropriate to just wait and say, oh, I got an interview next week. Do you know anybody in Tacoma that I can bring to the interview? Because I don't. So, I mean, just a couple tips out there, because I do think there's this misunderstanding of what a 485 adjudication is, and it's a lot different than an EAD.
Yeah, if you saw the denial of an adjustment that I saw today from somebody who'd filed themselves, went to the interview themselves, you'd hire a lawyer immediately, because this guy's not adjusting status because of certain things that he said and did in the interview that no lawyer in their right mind would have let him say. None. Absolutely none. Truly tragic. Let's see. Hi, Impact team. Could you please explain the current status of the Chursak case? Anything can be done to let the judge know that we are truly running out of time? The judge knows we're running out of time. The judge obviously gets that. I mean, we've kind of updated the Chursak case already. So let's see. Good news ASAP. I really believe that we're going to have some good news to share sometime this month. I just believe we're going to get that. 88-year-old U.S. citizen petitioned a 46-year-old unmarried son living in Iran. Fee paid, prepping 260. Is there any hope? I mean, obviously there's a 212F big travel ban, right? So if they're in the case, they should be interviewed and issued a visa. Is there any hope if the dad lives? I think so. If he's 88, he's got at least another decade. I don't know what you're referring to hope for, but let's see. DV case under judge jurisdiction. Does he historically prefer to rule on the entire group at once, or does his court pressure government to resolve ready cases during the briefing period? I mean, I've only ever filed mass actions or challenges to the APA in front of him, so I don't know. I mean, I've never seen him say, do Bob's case and then do Jim's case and then do Miriam's case. I've never seen him do that. Doesn't make any sense. Let's
I
see.
think if you want an opinion, I think what Judge Leon will do is similar to what the other cases have done. He'll try to have the government figure out how they want to comply with the order and report back within like 7 days. But that's the best case.
Any updates on Chicumba? Didn't we update Chicumba?
We did not update on Chicumba. Chicumba, the government got an extension into early August.
That's right.
And we have an amendment complaint that we can file, and we'll be filing that before their response date. So that doesn't impact anybody's timelines. But yeah, the update is just kind of we're plotting along here.
Judge has not issued. What makes you think the USCIS may resume processing?
We are seeing people
We're
have cases adjudicated.
They clearly are doing it. So there's no stay in place. I mean, is that what I don't understand what you're referring to? It just doesn't make any sense. What judge? I don't know.
But in any of those cases, in all of the cases, I'm seeing adjudications. So
yeah, they're all because they know they have to adjudicate them and they know they're next, right? So they're definitely adjudicating. As a plaintiff, if I this is granted through this clinic lawsuit instead of Masood, what we need to do to redo medicals, or will the judge still extend the validity of our documents? I mean, I don't know. I mean, is clinic a class action or is it a mass action? I don't know.
it's kind of like Dorcas pushing bacon for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'd redo my medical. I'd redo my docs. So.
What you mean you'd update your docs? I mean, I wouldn't redo a medical yet.
Yeah. I mean,
the
might.
constable can extend medicals. They can extend a medical. I mean, it would be, I think it'd be immoral to make people go back and get medicals again. At least that's what I would tell the judge.
Depends on what post you're at, I suppose.
That's also true. Does the defendant lawyer in Georgia's case try to approve only EADs? They've approved an H-1B and an adjustment so far too. He's asking for everybody, but clearly they focused on the EADs first. People are losing their jobs. That was why we filed the TRO, was that. Honestly, that he's doing the other stuff is just a favor. That's great. Are the government lawyers in a Raji, Maryland case working with you on anything other than 765? What about I-130-45? 33 months since filing I-130 and I-485.
Yes, I mean, we are seeing adjudications on other stuff besides just EADs. So,
there might be another reason why you're not being interviewed too. You have to understand that maybe there's a hit on something. Maybe the person they assigned it to had a baby and left for a year. I mean, you don't know what else is causing that delay. But I will tell you that depending on where you are in the country, 33 months is not necessarily the longest case they have pending of that kind. I can assure you that's the case. Yeah, it sucks. It's there.
Is that a U.S. citizen-based case or a lawful permanent resident marriage case? Because if it's an F2A, 33 months is early.
Normal. Yeah,
normal. Yeah.
Do you expect Mr. Zeman to negotiate a theft timeline or fight aggressively? That would be for you, Zach, or is it for me? I don't know.
That's. I think it's one of the government lawyer in one of the DV cases.
Oh, is he? Oh, he's the new lawyer. Yeah, he's the new guy. I don't know. I'm talking to him tomorrow morning. We'll find out.
He's a good guy.
Morning. Yeah, he's a good guy. Well, Jesse vouches for him, so that's good. Yeah. Honestly, the new civil head stepped in, emailed me last night. Can you send me the PI? I'll get it assigned this morning, because apparently Burhan said, "Yeah, not me. I'm not taking another one." If the government has already said that judge rule only for plaintiffs and grant relief requests, then what is Judge Leon waiting for? I don't know. So, what do you want to do with the joint report status for Raji? Do you want to wait until the hearing for Dorcas is held next week?
There's no joint status report ordered for the Raji case.
Yeah. Why would you wait? I mean, get it as soon as you can. It's certain by the deadline. That's all you have to do it.
But there is no joint status report.
I don't think so either, but maybe I've got confused the case here. Let's see. Any updates on positions exemptions? Greg, nothing, right?
No.
They lied. Did you tell me they lied?
Well, I did have actually a conversation with somebody that
with the union, and there is some potential movement happening for Jay's consulates, but nothing in writing that I can report yet.
Do you think, I think you meant Dorcas delayed to July 15th. Yeah, that was right. Can you give us a broader picture of what happened in the Colorado case? What will be next step? What will be the next strategy? Give us an EAD card for our time. We've talked about that, but Zach, you want to hit that again?
Yeah, I mean, we're fully briefed on the PI. We have reached out to the government attorney to try to get 765s and status adjudicated for everybody, and we have a new motion to dismiss based off of the amended complaint that was filed. That's almost identical to the one that was filed in May. So the next steps here are we wait for the decision on the PI and we brief the motion to dismiss.
Hi, I'm from Turkey. Do you think Judge Leon might be waiting for the World Cup to end before making a decision? I hope he's not a fan of any of the teams that have been eliminated, is all I can tell you. But we'll go.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
So I'm just like checking my correspondence on the Docker issue.
What do you got?
Just that that there have been communications from some of the consulates from the 39 countries, that they are actively working on NIEs for certain J1 physicians, and that they are in process. So it looks like something's happening.
Good. Let's see. Hi, simple question. I am board at DB 2026. Paid as well. My name is not in the documents. Here's why, by the way, your name is not in the documents. Because you can only put 50 names when you file in Washington, D.C. You can't put everybody's name on the header. If you received an email from us with a copy of the complaint, which you should have, without your name in it, we X them all out, you are a plaintiff. You don't need to email us. You are a plaintiff. Many of us in YILA are 765 cases, but our case has not been adjudicated. Well, that's not true. We know that cases in YILA have been adjudicated.
I will say many have not. That's definitely true. And I know it stinks when
I think they were.
But,
they're not saying that none have. They're just saying that a lot haven't.
And that's true. There's a lot that haven't been adjudicated, but I'm seeing a pretty steady stream of people who are getting adjudicated. So it stinks when it's not you, but it is happening, and I think people should be feel happy about that, because that means you're right around the corner, hopefully.
All right. So in Dorcas case, if the stay request gets to the Court of Appeals, can the court drag out the motion for a month like Judge McConnell did, or will they issue a stay quickly? Jesse, you're an expert in the First Circuit, having litigated there many times.
I think they'll rule quickly, but they may allow for them to brief it. It's going to the Supreme Court eventually, and I think it's going to go to the Supreme Court on the nationwide issue, and they'll probably get a stay there. And so if you're not in, they may limit it to the First Circuit, you know. That nationwide relief is a hot topic. So
yeah, it's hot topic because the Supreme Court doesn't want judges doing that. That's why it's hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hot in Toronto right now. I'm hoping my Saito case quickly wins so I go to Florida and cool off, because I heard it's quite hot in the Great White.
Florida is cooler than Toronto right now.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Which case is delayed to July 15th? That would be the Dorcas case. Hi, what do you want to do for a joint status report for Raji? They keep asking the same question.
So there's a comment further down that clarifies. Okay. So the joint status report is about the outcome of Dorcas. And so we would wait for whatever happens in Dorcas, and then we'll talk to the government attorney and file a status report saying, hey, here's what happened in Dorcas. It's not like we have to do a joint status report on what's happening in our case. It's a status report on what's happening in Dorcas. So it's nothing right now. We just see what happens in Dorcas.
All right. This is an individual who clearly misunderstands the lawsuit, and perhaps they didn't read the FIQ. We did not file a mandamus. You joined the lawsuit because they were never going to adjudicate your case, ever, unless you won this lawsuit. So advocating for N400, of course, because we filed a lawsuit for you. That's called advocating. But nobody's dying because they don't have an N400 approved. Nobody's going hungry Nobody loses their job because an N-400 is approved. So if you've got a special situation where if you're not a citizen by X date, you will lose your job, please let us know. Other than that,
that is the, I guess, the kind of next step with the stay being the stay being in place, where we're pushing to get everybody back in line as if the pause didn't exist. So that's the advocacy that's happening here. It's not a mandamus. It's not an unreasonable delay claim saying do this right now. It's saying, if the pause was not in place, they should be, put them where they should be. And if that is, you should have an interview, then that's an interview. If you're still waiting, then you're still waiting.
All right. What are the chances of non-plaintiffs in 221G receiving their visas? I have no idea.
For DV, 0.
0, I think. I mean, we're not
100%.
advocating for non-plaintiffs. So
0.
And I know Curtis has filed a class action in California, but I haven't heard anything since the filing last Friday, a week ago Friday.
Yeah, but I mean, Gomez was a class, so I mean, I have some experience on this.
Yeah.
It's the name plaintiffs are going to get priority because they're not going to go out and look for class. I mean, so I applaud them for doing it. But having done it myself, it's going to be a challenge for the State Department to identify those that are ready. I mean, I think the big problem we're going to have with DV, or maybe the State Department's going to have, they probably have interviewed thousands of people, and hopefully a lot of them are our plaintiffs. Those are going to be the ones that are going to be easy on that they're doing something. It's the scheduling of the interviews that are going to become a big problem.
Yeah, because they're going to have to push other people aside to do those. My 45 was interviewed last month. Congratulations. Got a second interview notice for later on the 6th. I assume that's August 6th. My attorney says the field office confirmed it was sent in error. Emma says it's still active. What should I do? Well, I wouldn't trust Emma as far as I could spit her. I would trust your lawyer. There you go. Is eligible for oath ceremony means approved? Yeah, generally speaking, that's exactly what it means. Exactly what it means. For the joint briefing schedule, what are you expecting from a DOJ attorney? I'm expecting to talk to him tomorrow morning. What's 75 country pause? What does it mean for DV lottery selected? It's why we have a 75 country claim inside the DV lottery case. So hopefully we'll get both of those hit on. Do they interview all AOS-based green card holders' spouse, or do they waive some of them?
They waive some.
They waive interviews all the time. So, but if they interview one spouse, they always interview the other. They don't just say, we're going to interview the husband, and then, he's the principal, we're not going to interview the wife. They bring everybody together. They don't just interview nobody. By the way, Jesse's out at the ball field with his kids. Jesse has 2 baseball playing sons, and he's got practice tonight. So could you please provide an update on the case? And you did. We spent a whole bunch of time talking about that. I just joined. If you answer this question, please skip. Any news on Raji? Yes, we did talk about that. You can go back and take a look at that. And Coca-Cola. Thank you, Zach. Zach is a machine and responding to emails.
I still have so many, so I apologize to anybody who's looking and is still waiting for a response.
What is your plan to process the case sooner? None. I have no plan to process your case sooner. I have a plan to get your case processed, not sooner than it's supposed to be. I mean, it's not a mandamus. You want your case done sooner than everybody else's, you should file your own lawsuit and file a mandamus. That is not our lawsuit. We've made that clear from the beginning. Let's see. Oh, why aren't you pushing the government lawyer and Raji? I mean, get your gloves out. Go fly to his place and beat him up. That's what you should do.
But we are in like a good conversation with them. That is what you want. We're having a good conversation with them about what we're looking for, what can be done with USCIS, what things to bring to USCIS. So, to the extent you want, I don't know, some sort of like shark, the lawyer that's, going after the government, that's not effective. We want collaboration between us and the government. And I think we've got that.
That's a good question, though. Why is Judge Russell waiting for the outcome in Dorcas?
He's not waiting for the outcome. He just wants to know what's going on.
That's it. because it's a nationwide order. Maybe he thinks I don't have to work on it. I can just hold the case. I don't have to write a 25-page decision. I can work on a different case this week if that one's controlling. I don't know. Who knows? Nobody can tell me they know what a judge is thinking. If I get my visa, I want to gift a 4K webcam to Zach. There you go. I think that's absolutely great.
It keeps me. You guys don't see all of my pores. It's great. What I really need is lights. That's the big upgrade for my setup here.
Yes, I agree. I agree. What should I expect my timeline on the ruling of other cases? My court have been pending for 550 days. I don't have a timeline for you, but hopefully we'll get an answer from the government shortly on what they're expecting to do.
What if just to jump in? So one thing I will say is that it doesn't seem like it's like going in order. We're not seeing like, okay, person filed in October of 2024 is first, and then person in January 2025 is next. It seems to be all over the place. Like I'm really thinking that USCIS is just in total chaos right now, trying to get cases adjudicated. So that's what makes it difficult to predict things. Like somebody who filed yesterday could get an adjudication, and somebody who filed 3 years ago could not. So it's just all over the place.
What I'm thinking is they have somebody headquarters who's running this. They're trying to get officers off their other cases to go find this case to get it adjudicated all over the country, and it's chaos. And it's the middle of the summer as well when these guys are on vacation. What are the chances of 75 puncher cause lasts the whole administration? I don't think it will. I think it's going to end shortly, personally.
I think that there's also not, I think if there was no lawsuits, it's still not something that they would want to have the entire administration. I think that this is something that they were using as some, I don't know, like a bridge to get to visa bonds. That's my conspiracy.
This is a good question. Do you think the DV will ever happen again, the diversity lottery? Clearly, I think I understand, Zach. They haven't started notifying winners of 2027, have they?
Not to my knowledge, but
that sounds like a lawsuit in the future. If someone submitted his DS-260 and didn't receive a 2NL, remind me, Greg, I know that's somebody's secret language for something or other in the DV process. Yet the DV winner with a low case number still has a chance to be interviewed if a plaintiff thanks and happy to the birthday.
I think the 2NL is the interview ready notice.
Is that what that is? I never. They had these secret acronyms that I never memorized that lawyers don't use. I mean, they're going to be pushed to issue as many numbers for our plaintiffs as possible. Okay.
I'm sorry, I got distracted. I was just looking at the news that Trump says he's going to ask SCOTUS for a rehearing on the birthright case, which Supreme Court hasn't had a rehearing on a case
on any case.
1965.
It probably didn't work out for the president back then either.
Anyway, sorry for being distracted.
Can you explain both outcomes of the Dorcas case? If it gets a stay, what if they don't? If they give a stay, then we ask our judges to adjudicate our case. And as Jesse noted, the reason it would get a stay is because the judge made it nationwide. That is why a stay might occur, which is fine. It's still great precedent, a great decision, and great logic. So I think it goes a long way. Heck, even our Judge Grimberg, he realized this cannot go on this way forever. He's pushing the government to get it off his calendar. Thank you for the update on the IDs. Has there been any info in your mass actions who has received the interview for naturalization? I know of one. I know of one who got an interview, and I think one was naturalized. And I know we had a client who wasn't a plaintiff from Iran who was naturalized. So can you give us a timeline about what happens if Dorcas gets a stay versus not? Then the judges will ask to issue an immediate decision. There you go. I can't give you a timeline beyond that. If it goes to SCOTUS, gets a stay because of the nationwide effort of that. But if an individual PI like we're asking for can still go forward.
So one thing, I know everybody's kind of worried about what's going on with these appeals, with the stay, all of that. But like we filed all these before Dorcas. So like Dorcas is nice for us to have right now because cases are moving forward and we're getting to push everybody to adjudications. But we filed these before there was Dorcas. And so we would just kind of go back to that situation where we're asking for these PIs, the TROs, because we want adjudications for plaintiffs
as quickly as possible. I think this is going to be sarcastic, that everything is in place. We're all in line. I don't think you're all in line. Clearly, they're not doing stuff in line, but you will get approved eventually. Yasser thinks we're amazing, and we appreciate that because Zach needs a hug, and I appreciate a virtual hug.
We're sorry about it. I was very sorry about the Egypt-Argentina result.
Yeah, that sucked, by the way. I don't know now why that goal was disallowed. I do not understand.
Sorry, Argentines that are on, but
I do not understand it. It's awful. I also don't understand why Egypt allowed 3 goals in 12 minutes. That's the other thing I don't understand. So, do you think a 75-country immigrant visa pause is likely to be lifted anytime soon? The president is not going to lift this. Rubio is not going to voluntarily lift this. They're not. So that's why the courts are important. 45 pending for 48 months. Now, that's a mandamus. My D expires. That's a mandamus. If your Colorado case, reach out to Zach separately. Maybe Zach can put that at the top of the list. He loses his EAD in a few weeks. But that is a mandamus once we get the order. Okay. If you don't get emergency stay, would Judge Russell dismiss the Raji case?
No. So if Dorcas is not paused, we would just continue as normal. The case doesn't go away because there's a different stay, and you're seeing that across the country where judges are denying motions for stays in the particular cases, and they're not dismissing cases across the board either. They're not saying, okay, because the policy's been vacated in one case where the government is appealing, we're going to dismiss this case. That's just not correct law.
Even Judge Grimberg, he got that too. So I don't know if you've had a chance to read that decision of Judge Grimberg. We won every argument. He's still giving the government chances here. That's what's happening. I hope you get a visa. You don't need to send us gifts, really. We don't need gifts. Promise you. Our gift is you getting your documents.
Joking about the lights.
The lights. You don't send. Trust me. We can get him a light. How long until public charge bond rule finalizes?
Yeah, that's hard to say because it went to OIRA in May, I think. So it's in process. It's going to be by the end of the year.
I would think
who
so.
knows when though.
But I imagine that will be litigated. I imagine that'll be litigated. That guy, he got red card reversed for wouldn't be American. Well, that's exactly right. By the way, Trump doing that proves that everything Donald Trump touches dies.
It was karma.
It's karma. If Trump was in your favor,
as soon as he did that, I was immediately went into depression about how the U.S. team was now going to lose.
We're toast. I knew we were toast the moment he did that. We're gone. We're gone. By the way, did you see the very nice apology from that young man on Twitter today? Look, I'm sorry I let you down. We're going to do better in 4 years.
I love that team.
That's America.
Those guys, I love them.
Great team
great to watch. Yeah.
No one to notify. It's just crazy, right? Is there any chance that the circuit court will give a stay on the merits? I don't think so. No. Let's see.
And I guess to the second point, how bad would that be? I mean, it's not good, but it's not like we're still adjudicated. It's an out of circuit stay. It's not a decision on the merits from the First Circuit.
I don't see it happening.
Even if it was a decision on the merits from the First Circuit, a judge in Colorado can say, "Oh, well, I don't agree with those folks up in." I don't even know where the First Circuit sits. Is it?
Kennery, I don't know which lawsuit you're referring to, so it's hard for me to tell you. But we can't tell off the top of our head how many folks have been here. I have no way of telling you. All right. So, and last one, easier to sue our country ban, 35 country pause. I'm not sure that's actually true. I think the 75 country pause is easier because it's illegal. It's just flat out illegal. But at the end of the day, it's just taking longer because the judge is not working on it. All right. We'll be live next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Hopefully we'll have some amazing news we can share at that point. Of course, if we get information during the week, we will let those plaintiffs know in that particular case, send out notices as soon as we get it. That'll be done by email, so make sure you check your emails. Thank you guys again for the honor of representing you. We're going to keep fighting for you in all these cases. Anything to add, Zach or Greg, before we despedirnos?
Love you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.